Hey everyone, it's Oak with another Sims 4 speed build video. This time around I'm building a cafe because I really wanted to do a cafe. And I was sitting around thinking, what kind of facility I would associate with spring. And, I don't know, a cafe came to mind. So, that's what I wanted to do here. So, basically the core of this building I wanted was an outdoor patio, a large 2-story foyer entrance, and a sunroom, which I think was the coolest part of this build that I had done. The other part of this build that might be off-putting to some people is the fact that I did use a lot of windows here. Like, I use a ton of windows. And, I don't know, that's just something I find that I always tend to do. Probably something I need to stop doing, but man, I really like it when there's just lots of glass, lots of natural light coming in. I don't know, to me that's the style of architecture that I enjoy. A lot of like natural materials, and lots of glass, a lot of natural sunlight. So unlike the last build, the restaurant, I wanted to try using a lot more brighter colors, which I think I did, and I did use a bunch of dark colors, but I really wanted to try using lighter woods. And yes, I did focus on using woods because, again, that's the type of things I like. Lots of wood, lots of natural materials. The other thing that I did also end up doing, which I wasn't really used to, was trying to put in a lot of plants, because there are a ton of plant options. Here you can see I'm trying to put in the glass roof, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I make that one section that's got the double-sided roof, that's the glass section. Okay, I thought about doing the other one as glass, I decided not against it. So anyways, I wanted to do a lot of plants here, which I thought was really nice, because I'm not good at decorating with plants. I just wanted to put in a lot of greenery for that spring type of feel, which I hope I did kind of successfully, at least in your eyes. It was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, especially since I thought there were options in The Sims 4's like wall hanging plants. I'm not talking about the ones in a box or in like a gardener's box on the windowsill. No, I was thinking actual vines, or just these plants that you would see hanging on balconies. But I could not find anything, and I'm wondering if that was actually part of a pack that I just don't have, because I haven't bought a lot of packs, honestly. They are doing a sale right now for some of these packs, so I did end up picking up some, I think, City Living and Laundry Day stuff. I think that's gonna be a fun pack to use when I'm gonna do a small house build. And then the other one that I ended up getting, because it was one of those pick 3 things, right? Except I bought Laundry Day separately because that was fairly cheap. So it was City Living, and I want to say luxury party stuff almost. And I bought Parenthood because even though I don't do the life sim part of this game a lot, I kind of want to try it again. And everyone says Parenthood is one of the best packs out there, so I went for Parenthood. Anyways, yeah, I'm building the interior of this facility now, and that green trim around that roof I changed later on because I did not like how it looked at all. I thought it looked really ugly. Unfortunately, it just was not. It did not, talk to me. It wasn't the color I wanted. So inside, I'm just trying to figure out how I'm gonna divvy up the wood and the stone section, because the idea was that the left part of the building is wood, because that's where the right part of the building is wood, because that's the sunroof and that's the extension. The other part is stone. It kind of looks kind of basic, which it kind of is, and I hope in the future I'll be able to make more interesting combinations, but again, I wanted to stick with the natural materials. This is also why I typically don't use the traditional American style siding, because I just don't like how it looks. I'd much rather stick with stone, brick, wood, those types of materials, instead of the plasticky looking siding. I'd also like to point out that I've never actually built a cafe in The Sims before, so a lot of this is new to me. I was having a hard time trying to figure out how I wanted to set things up, especially when it came to the interior. And see, like those tables I'm putting, I actually thought those you could sit there with like a bar stool. And maybe you can, maybe you can't, but I didn't find a way you could, so I did end up replacing them. Actually, yeah, no, that didn't work, so I did have to replace them. So instead, I just took the dine-out tables and gave them a bright color, and then just tried to find some nice chairs for them. Where the idea was with bright tables, you should have dark chairs to just have a bit of contrast, which I believe is what I did for most of this. And I did end up using a similar concept for the outdoors, although the outdoors I did believe I put more chairs than I did in the last one, actually, compared to the restaurant build. So this one's got a lot. You can see, like, I put a lot of windows here because I really wanted a place where it would be bright and enjoyable. Basically, what I wanted was, this is a place where you should be able to come here with your friends and hang out with a nice drink, relax, maybe study, and just overall have a relaxing experience. And so, while it is very big, at least in my eyes this is big, I usually avoid building bigger than, 20 by 20. The past two builds have been on 20 by 20 lots. I really don't like building anything beyond that, and I actually did another build after this one that I'm not finished yet, but it was way too big, and it was only on a 20 by 30 lot. So I actually have a really hard time with builds that are larger than 20 by 20. So it should be interesting. I do want to try building larger houses and facilities, but man, it's just really hard finding enough items to just fill it without making it seem empty. Because, I don't know, it's just the way I do things, I guess. Big is kind of for me, but smaller is much, much better. So here I'm trying to figure out how I want to set up a fireplace and a nice relaxing environment. A fireplace I kind of thought might have been overkill, but in the end I was like, you know what, a fireplace here would be kind of relaxing to have while you're having a nice drink with your friends, especially if it's like at night. So I ended up, you know what, let's put in a fireplace. And I think I put a TV over there, and I put in some plants, just add some green, so it's a nice mix of things. Well, I really do jump around a lot in my builds. I think here I was trying to figure out where I wanted to put a bathroom after I finished the roofing, because I realized when I was laying this out, I did not actually have a bathroom. So obviously it couldn't be inside the sunroom area, so I ended up putting it next to it. And unlike most bathrooms where it's segregated by gender, I decided for this one, you know what, let's just have two toilets, and then just have a larger area with sinks, and doesn't matter what you are, just go in there, use the bathroom, just use whatever you want. I mean, at the end, does it really matter? You're just going in there to do your business, and then you're leaving, right? It's new age, come on. And if you've noticed, I do use a lot of the spa day materials, because I think those are some of the most aesthetically pleasing materials, and wow, I really should probably use other things. Which is even worse because the other one that I was working on was a spa, which used a lot of spa day materials. So maybe today isn't the day where I stop using these. They're just really, to me, some of the most aesthetically pleasing building materials in the game. And like build mode objects, or buy mode objects too. They're just really nice to look at because they have this modernist, I don't know what you want to call it, modern, new age, with a hint of Asian flair to it. It's something along those lines. So that's what I wanted to do. Here I'm just actually starting to flesh out the sunroom area. And basically, I actually thought about putting these like cafe chairs there, or like the diner chairs. I decided, you know what, no, this is a place where people should relax, especially since there's bookcases, so I put down couches here. And I used the wicker couches from Perfect Patio stuff, I think it was, because I thought those looked the nicest here. There were some other options, but I thought that these really meshed well with the concept of having this great big glass sunroom area. So I thought it was very nice. It's the type of place I would love to go to if I ever had to go to a cafe, so I can just sit down, enjoy myself, and maybe hang out with my friends. And here I'm trying to like flesh out the outdoor patio area too. Did I really? I'm pretty sure I used the dine-out tables for this because I just thought it was the easiest. And then I also, yeah, I took some nice outdoor chairs. I think this build I put down 3 tables. Honestly, this place might actually work a lot better as a restaurant as well. So if you do enjoy this build, but you don't like how I've set things up, by all means, please just remove the cafe stuff, reassign the slot as a restaurant, and just plop down a couple restaurant materials. You can probably do it without too much issue. Though, again, this was intended as a cafe where, you know, nice and happy and open. And, you know, putting some cafe speakers there so people can listen to some nice, relaxing tunes, maybe some jazz. And, you know, that's the type of thing I think would fit perfectly well here. Honestly, if I had to put something here, I'd probably just end up playing, like, I don't want to say lo-fi hip-hop or jazz, maybe some hip-hop jazz. This place would do well with some nujabes. Oh, man. I think that's what I would like. And here I'm trying to figure out how I want to do the lighting for the outdoors. And today, or when I was doing this build, I remembered how you could raise objects up above the ground, and that was such a revelation to me. I was just, oh man, look at all the things I can do. So I took these like green lanterns and put them on top of the post on this, and ooh, it turned out so much nicer than I had expected. So I was really pleased with how this turned out. I do add some other things here, because you'll notice I don't have what do you want to call it, an awning above, and I do put one in the video that I really didn't like. So I did replace it in the final build, which you should see in the final picture, but it was a lot harder, mostly because the rounded corner of the patio made it kind of difficult to find something that was pleasing, and I was having a really hard time trying to get, like, say, round roofs, like circular roofs, to fit over that corner section, so I just ended up scrapping it, and I went with something fairly basic, and you could probably mix and match some stuff on it, maybe throw some plants on top of it, if you know what I mean. It's like when you go outside and you have like those wood slats, I want to say, like beams above you, and that's how it ended up looking. And around the rest of this build, I'm just kind of trying to find lighting for the rest of the facility, and I think I stuck with a fairly typical lantern. When I do these builds, I try to think of how realistically how it would work. So in this case, you know, have like these people buying the same lights and then just placing them everywhere seems the most logical, especially since it's, you know, fairly simple looking, and I think that's how, you know, most restaurants would probably operate. That's why you see all these like box lights everywhere, especially for like the night lighting. And, you know, I thought it was fine. To me, realism is one of the more important parts when it comes to constructing these speed builds, or just any Sims building in general. Because, you know, maybe one day, if I ever get super rich, I'd like to maybe one day, hey, maybe, you know, open one of these buildings I've created and have an actual restaurant or cafe just like it. It's just a pipe dream, but, you know, it's a fun little thought. Anyways, oh man, what was I doing here? I'm trying to flesh out this center, like, column thing where I have the fireplace and TV. I'm just trying to flesh the rest of the area out, especially with greens. And I think around here, you'll notice I'm trying to dump, like, paintings everywhere, and especially some other greenery plants. And let's just say it could have turned out a lot better. I'm not very good with plant decorating yet, and a lot of it is just, wow, there are a lot of plants to look through. In this center area, I had such a hard time trying to decide what I wanted to do, because initially I had a rug there. I'm just like, do I want to do these plants? But then it looks kind of weird, even if I try putting them close together. It looks really busy, and I didn't like that. And I felt like it took away too much from the fact that, hey, this is a sunroom, there should be open and relaxing. So I think I ended up replacing it with some kind of table, and then some other plants, like that box plant. And I think that's how I ended up deciding this is where I'm trying to mess with the roofing for this outdoor area for like an awning, and it was not cooperating with me. Mostly because I was not sure how to get this to work, and it didn't turn out the way I wanted to, because I really wanted to match it with the how the floor was set up with the rounded corner on one side, but I decided it was not turning out right at all, and it was such a shame. And you know, I wish it could have gone better. Maybe there's just some building techniques I'm not aware of, and hopefully I will learn those techniques so that these builds will be even greater in the future. I put those display shelves because I thought knickknacks would just kind of automatically stack on it. Apparently not. Apparently what you actually have to do is you need to use the MoveObjects on sheet and then just use the raise and lower object command to, you know, raise it onto display. And I did not realize that when I was building this, which is such a shame because it would have put a lot more of those display stands, because it would have looked a lot nicer. Here's that glass awning that I put there. I thought it looked fine at first. I get rid of that because, you know, it fitted perfectly. I get rid of that later on because it looked really bad and looked really jarring when I was reviewing the build, which is a shame because I thought a glass roof in the outdoor area might have been nice. But then when I thought about it more, it's just like, wouldn't this kind of just be like a magnifying glass? I mean, you can make the same argument about the sunroom, but I thought it did not look right at all on that patio. So I switched out for some wood, which I thought was a lot nicer. And, you know, you can see I'm trying to, like, what else can I do? What else can I fit in here? Because there's a lot of things that I really wanted to try throwing on here. But I was also limited by a lack of space, which, you know, is by design, because I don't want to go overboard. And there's a lot of things I wish I had known before I started this build, but in the end, this is just, you know, I thought it looked nice. I hope you think it looks nice when you start seeing the final images. What else am I going to talk about for the next 10 minutes? I think I'm just kind of digging through the various decorative items here, trying to find something that looks nice, especially for this area, because I looked at this when I was building. I'm like, you can put nice plants in that area, like right on that balcony. And I did. I put these like planter boxes, which I think I did them in 3 different colors just to mix it up a bit, because, you know, I thought it would be boring if it was just one color. But man, I really wish that I could have found those other plants, because I could not find them, which was such a shame. And I think here I'm trying to figure out the outdoor signage, because I think these places would require type of signage, you know, just to signify you're here. And similar to the restaurant build I did last time, I put an outdoor fountain. Why? Because I thought an outdoor fountain would look nice, because it was full of water, which reminds me of spring. And here I'm trying to just plop down trees. I do replace a bunch of these trees off camera because I didn't like how some of them look. I also replaced that bush with, I think, just some pillars just to... I realized that you can use pillars to cleanly show a divide between, you know, 2 different materials. I wish I had realized that much sooner, because it would have made certain transitions a lot less jarring. But unfortunately, I didn't realize that until it was a bit too late. But, you know, learning process. Every build that you make, you know, you learn a bit more. I'm just trying to, like, throw some plants here too, just to add some color to this little fountain, which, you know, I thought it looked pretty nice in the end. So, you know, there's a lot of things I'm learning, which is great. Although I think one of my biggest weaknesses for sure is that I really need to plan out these builds properly ahead of time, because sometimes I end up running into issues where certain things don't fit, which is such a shame. But, you know, it's learning bit by bit, right? That's how it works. Anyways, this video part there's actually going to be a small cut coming up, where just because there were some things that I did after I did the initial build, because I was mulling over it for like a day or two, and I realized, you know, there's a couple things that I should fix, which is the wood beaming for the awning. And here I am just trying to put down more things on top of these tables. I figure upstairs have a small menu, and outdoors has a small menu. They know what they can go inside to get, and then those inside already have like a little, I don't know, tea or what is it, sugar and other things, seasonings. I don't know what you call it for these types, for like tea and coffee. Seasonings? Seasoning sounds really off, but you get the idea. And here, yeah, I'm still trying to figure out the trees. There's There's quite a bit of tree options, but I think in the end I ended up opting for a lot of sakura trees because I thought they were a lot prettier to look at, especially since spring is when these types of trees bloom. And I thought it was a nice contrast to like the heavy greenery. So that's what happens. I'm trying to see what else. Yeah, see here I'm going to put in these brown beams because I realized that, you know, that type of these materials existed, and I was so happy when I found that out because I'm like, wow, I can make this look really nice. I did try putting plants on top of there, but then as I went into first-person mode, I realized that it looked really off on the lower end, like you can't see the green at all. So I decided I'll just get rid of it, and you know, I'll leave it up to whoever downloads and places this lot to decide whatever they want to put on there to make it look appropriate. Because that's how I felt it should be done. Mostly because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do there, which is, you know, unfortunate. I think around here the build should be coming to a close soon. I think I'm just trying to verify like all the trees and plants. I believe I did get rid of that one tree right there by the front, in that corner, and I replaced it with, I believe a sakura tree as well. I get rid of. I was trying to find a place to put it there, where it doesn't like bleed into the building, but I couldn't find it. So anyways, here's the final build. You can see the nice entranceway. Here's the front window and fountain. And as we walk into the facility, you're greeted by this open atrium area with the stairs, bookcase, fireplace. And you've got multiple tables for you to sit down and lounge about with your friends, have a nice drink, relax. Outdoors, you can sit there too, because there's a nice patio warmer. As you go upstairs, a nice open atrium again. And here's the best part. Honestly, I think the sunroom was my favorite part of this build, and I think this is the part that looked the most pleasing, which, you know, I thought was awesome. I don't want to oversaturate my builds with that, but I hope I learn from this and maybe add more of those types of cool items. Anyways, if you enjoyed this build, please let me know in the comments. And if you would like me to upload a version without a commentary, please let me know as well, and I can provide that as to you. Anyways, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.